All right. Hey, hey, hey. We are on the Loyalty and Friends podcast. And I got a special guest tonight. So if y'all don't know who this man is, I don't know who you are. But I got my boy Frankie J. Matthews in the building, man. And we did have part one of this interview. So yes, go check it out on the Instagram Live. And you can find the link to the Instagram Live or any of these social media platforms, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Clubhouse, name it. Go to loyalty10k.com. But I met my boy Frankie on the Owl app, man. What a pleasure, man, because he is the bomb.com. So we talked a little bit about the mental health aspect because he is a big advocate for mental health awareness. And it's very dear to him, it's dear to me. And you know, our mental health is very serious. So he was just sharing some of the struggles he had as a child coming into adulthood. But as I know, when you go through life experiences like that, that definitely helps you be more, well knowledgeable, and you're able to help others because you have experienced some of those same things. So I want to shift gears a little bit because he has an amazing podcast as well. And I'm a podcaster, so that's definitely my language right there for sure. And I know where I got my inspiration from when it comes to my podcast. So I want to know a little bit more about the podcast. Like, tell us where your inspiration came from, how long you been podcasting, and like where did it originate from? So the mic is on you, my brother.
All right. Well, thanks for having me over here. For me, excuse me, I started podcasting about 5 years ago, and what inspired me to do it was I went from working 75 hours a week physical labor to work stopped permanently. So I was going out of my mind trying to figure out what can I do. I'm bored, and so I started reading books, and then this one character I met on Facebook asked me if I wanted to be on his podcast, and I'm like, sure. Never heard of it, had no clue. And once I did a show with him, I'm like, I'm doing my own, and that's where it started with my smartphone and a little Bluetooth speaker to a full blown studio 5 years later that takes up 3/4 of my living room, and I have a pretty decent show over on Fireside. So I went from the beginning stages of recording, editing, all that jazz. And my inspiration throughout the years has been just to get better than yesterday and um, really just give the audience what they want when they want it and for how long they want it. And that's really what it comes down to. You know that doing podcasting yourself.
Yes, I do. So, like, what is your podcast geared more toward? Like, what type of things do you talk about, or what is the experience of being on your podcast? And what's the name of it? Because I'm pretty sure people want to know
Yeah,
more about the podcast so they can tune in.
sure. It's called Raw, and it's with two W's, and it stands for Ready, Able, Willing, Whenever. And it's Raw with me, the host, Frankie J. And we do all different kinds of shows. Season one, I did a lot of interview shows with, really important people in society or people that brought, any sort of enhancement to the show that wanted to have a good time, have some joking, some serious topics as well. I have my little core of followers that will come on at times and enhance the show. So it's really all different kinds of shows, all different kinds of people, sometimes an interview, sometimes a topic where I let the audience interact. So it really kind of depends on the week and what's really trending on in the news or sports or whatever. So my show is just a laid back kind of like a duplicate of a Tonight Show, but with the Frankie J twist on it.
And I like that. You gotta have that twist, man, Frankie. And man, you are phenomenal. And just, upon our conversation, I realized we had a lot of things in common because,
Yeah.
I'm a Leo as well. Leo, gang, gang, for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
So
People
I'm
hate
a Leo
us.
to heart, man. And, I tell everybody, your life is not, look, you need a Leo in your life. Listen, if you don't have one, I'm telling you, come on. We're taking people. We're taking them, right?
Yeah. We're
So,
tough people, and a lot of people when they have problems with us, they always say it's because you're a Leo. And it's like, well, you're a Gemini.
right. And so you shared something very interesting that I thought was very interesting. You was stating that you're very experienced with animals and
Hmm.
pets in a very spiritual way. So speak on that for me. Enlighten me.
Um. Yeah. I mean, for me, having a dog growing up was my escape from the craziness because dogs love you unconditionally, and since I was a young child, I can remember stray animals would just randomly come up to me when I was out playing with my friends, cats or dogs or whatever. And I have this like thing where I can look into a dog's eyes, and I can communicate with animals. And I mean, I've integrated animals together, birds, dogs, lizards, all in the same home, not having to separate them. And I, had a bird flying around free range, litter trained, my dog, everyone gets along. It's all about what the animal feels coming off of you. If they feel love and safety, then they'll, you know, be happy and be themselves. And I always let the animals be who they are. I don't try to, bring a Great Dane into an efficiency apartment. I make sure of what kind of animals I'm getting and if I'm going to be able to care for them. So it's really, for me, I'm one with the animals, even the wild animals. I have deer right outside my window every night, and I'll feed them apples and little bunnies, and then my dog. And I'm just an animal guy. I love animals. The animals love me.
And listen, it's nothing wrong with that. So,
No.
man, I'm just like, you are a wealth of knowledge. Like, I was just, looking at your bio and, like, you studied in psychology,
Yeah.
on top of that, criminal justice. So, okay, very well balanced, very well balanced. So, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure there's a lot of things you can enlighten us on for sure. So, what was that experience like your college life, your college days?
Oh, I loved college. I went years after high school, so it was perfect timing for me. And I ended up getting 2 associate's degrees at a school where they finally said, "There's nothing left here for you. Go to a different school." And I took everything from, creative writing, yoga, and forensics, public speaking, all the criminology courses, and all the computer software program courses. And I took whatever I could take just to, educate myself. And it really pays off in a lot of ways, because when you're in college for like law or criminal justice, you
Right.
meet a lot of, uniformed officers or judges or former judges or lawyers, and they're your instructors. So you network with these people, and you learn a lot, and they eventually become your friends and let you do ride-alongs and things like that, and get tours of facilities. And I've always had an interest in that sort of thing. I've never been a cop or became a cop. It was just, something that has always interested me. I like to know what the laws are, the penal code, and I learned all that. And it's just, I love to just learn. I'll read something new every day.
Knowledge is
I'm
power. Knowledge
It
is
is.
power for sure.
It is. I read something different every day, and it's just the way I am. I have to know something new every day.
Right. So you shared something, and I want to touch on this because I lost a sibling as well. My
Yeah.
brother, he actually transitioned back in 2020 on my daughter's sweet 16th birthday, and it was hard picking up the pieces. So I know you had a brother that was dear to you who had some mental health issues and things going on. So how did that really change you, or like how did you navigate through that? Because I know that was definitely a trying time for you.
Yeah. Well, my brother was disabled from the age of 2 on, and he had a whole bunch of problems: cerebral palsy, mental retardation. He had all different sorts of seizures on a daily basis. Sometimes he couldn't talk. He couldn't be left. He was 24/7 care. And um, my mother took care of him his whole 43 years on earth, 24/7. And so he was always my baby brother, because he never mentally got older than 3. So I always say to people, imagine trying to buy a 3-year old a gift every single year. Like, pretend
Right.
that your kids don't grow up. It becomes challenging, believe it or not.
I can believe that. And I see we're going to give a shout out to Doug Rains. Thank you for tuning in, Doug. I know my boy EA is in the building. He also has an amazing podcast, Analyze This Topic. And I see Doug is from East Tennessee. Okay, so we got
All
Tennessee in the
right.
building. Our brother LP, he got the Trigger Warning podcast. Yeah, so and he said he's always a fan. I see you, EA. Thank you so much. Analyze This Topic
Awesome.
is in the building. So before we get out of here, for one, I want to tell you have been an amazing guest, but you all, we're going to do a Q&A style. So if you want to continue this conversation and you got some questions and you want to ask our brothers Frankie some questions, man, come join us on Clubhouse in the audio room. You don't have to be seen, but you can definitely be heard, or you can just chill out in the audience, okay, and just tune in to the conversation. All right, so we're going to take it from here. This is part 2. Let's go to part 3 of this, but let them know how they can find you, how they can tune into the podcast, and what other, support you might need at this point.
Yeah, I tell everybody the easiest way to find all of my content and everything is just go to my website. It's FrankieJExperience.com with an IE. So FrankieJExperience.com. All of my social handles are there. All of my live shows, all my past shows, all my wisdom talks, all my pictures from my 25 appearances on Dr. Phil are on there. And yeah, so to get a hold of me, everything information-wise is on my website. Drop me a message, drop me a line. You want to be a guest on the show, or you have suggestions on topics, I'm always yours. And that's the easiest way to get to me.
Yes, and as I told you all, I met this man on OWL. Okay, if you don't know about the OWL app, that's OWWLL, I would tell you tap in, and especially, it's a really good networking app and a great way to really, connect with some really big hitters, and that's how we even here on this podcast today. So I definitely want to shout out Al just for being a game changer for us. We are looking for new brand ambassadors like myself, and we got a lot more that's joining the team. So yeah, come over. But in the meantime, man, I want to thank you again, Frankie. And
No
for those who
problem.
are
Thank
watching,
you.
make sure y'all keep tuning in. Each and every Friday, you will catch a new podcast. And you can find all my social media platforms on loyalty10k.com. But we're going to sign out, and we're going to be on our way to Clubhouse. See you in a minute, Frankie.
Part 3.
Clubhouse. Yes.